he says that he's going to take vengeance when he's elected again. He said even last night, yes, I'm going to be a dictator for a day. Now, but see, I see what you're doing.
Well, no,
Wait, now, but let me finish. What you're doing is you're saying, oh my gosh, well, that's just him. And the problem is we saw on January 6th, and in the lead up to it, the fact that he is willing to ignore the rulings of our courts.
So Donald Trump has been trying to promise his base and those who might support him that he is going to get retribution. He says for them, even though the people he's targeting have nothing to do with the Republican base. It's all people who have, run afoul of Donald Trump himself. And he's going to keep making the comments like he did with Sean Hannity. He's going to be a dictator on day one. And we do know that the Democrats are going to try to make this a big part of the election. Joe Biden, put out a statement saying as Donald Trump escalates the stakes of this race, the media cannot shy away from covering his assault on our democracy, including people in his orbit threatening to jail the free press, which Sean Bannon and Kash Patel were talking about earlier this week. So, Maz, we've talked about a few things that could be significant in the race, like the topic of abortion once again, maybe his crimes. How big of a thing do you think concerns over the fate of democracy will be?
I think the American people have not experienced autocracy enough to realize how bad it really is. I come from Iran. Iran before '79 was it was the Shah, the king, and he also was the leader, but there were some democratic norms there where women could dress as they pleased, where education was being spread to all in the country. There was a lot of good things happening. There were some bad things, but there was still a lot of good things happening. As soon as the totalitarian state took over, the Islamic Republic, it went dark. It went like women got to cover themselves. Or they can be, as we saw last year, Mahsa Jina Amini, her hair was out of her hijab. They arrested her and then they killed her. So what you end up with is, and I from statistics that I've read, a majority of the Iranian people would rather have their freedom to dress how they please. Yes, there are those religious types who want women all to be covered, but there are mostly people who go, you should have that choice. Now, that is very similar in a way to what happened here in America with Roe versus Wade, where we have a majority of Americans want a woman to have the right to choose, and yet a minority of people were able to impose their will on a majority. And you're just going to run into more and more of that stuff. So these autocratic governments go after the LGBTQ community. They go after religious minorities. They go after, if you're a religious minority, I hear people sometimes go, oh, I love Trump and I'm Jewish or I'm Muslim or I'm whatever the other religion is. I go, you think day two, they're not going to come after you? They're going to come after you. They said it in Charlottesville. They said Jews will not replace us. It's mind-blowing how little the American population is aware of what an autocratic state would look like. And it's also mind-blowing that they're listening to this narcissistic psychopath tell you he's coming for you, and they're not taking it seriously. They're just laughing. Yeah. And he's mentally ill.
Yeah, we're laughing our way to that dark future that you sketched out so well. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.